Go back to the purchasing cost too. Like, is there a blanket, back of the envelope figure of 5% on top of the purchase price?
Spot on. 5% is what I do first check. But then as soon as you start talking to an agent and doing like getting pretty close to making an offer, you'd be silly not to start doing all the other calculations. Like there's plenty of spreadsheets online. If you go on my website, I've got all the spreadsheets to work out cash flow, pay down calculators, purchasing costs, all that type of stuff. It doesn't take long. It's like 5 minutes of your time to kind of get your head around it. You should sort of already know that anyway, because before you set your purchasing price budget, you know generally what at that max budget, what they're going to be. So you're hopefully buying under your budget and then it should be less, and that's just going to be more of a buffer.
It sort of leads into, for people that are thinking about going it alone or going down the path, is that you've got your initial deposit at say 20%. And then you've got to have that initial cash to pay for that extra 5%. Mm-hmm. So just factoring that in, some people go, I can afford $1 million property. I've got 200 grand. It's like, no, just reassess that one.
The easiest way is literally just divide by the extra 5%. So if it's 20% deposit, 5%, just divide the cash that you got saved by 0.25 and it'll come up with a number. If you want to depend on your personal circumstances, if I was a mum and dad client with 5 kids, I would want a bigger buffer because I know there's going to be more costs that pop up. So I'd probably say divide that number by 0.3, 0.35 to have that 10% buffer. But again, guess what I'm going to say, Sam? Case by case.
I'm going to start counting these, mate. Maybe we'll get to 20.
We should run a competition when Steve hits 50. Everyone gets a free strategy session.
Yeah, that's good. I like it.
Come on, mate. You do them anyway. Oh, no, you were running a campaign for that.
In all seriousness, I offer a free hour consult anyway, which is generally a strategy session where we go through what your goals and aims are and all that type of stuff. And then most of the time people want to use me because I come up with a solution to their problem. And that's what property is. The property is the vehicle to come up with the solution.
Yeah, nice. Well, there's your purchasing costs. It's sort of obviously, if you unsure of what they all are, then rewind and listen to it, because we're looking at valuation 800 to round up $2,000 for your basic sort of 500 to $2 million property, legals 2 to 4K, stamp duty 3 to 3.5%, property manager. I mean, that's not really transaction. That's probably more your holding costs, which we'll jump into next. But there's a few fees there. 5%. Add that on top of your purchase price, and factor it all in. And Steve's got some really great calculators. Jump on his website, download them. But do you want to jump into the holding costs, which will be the next?
Yeah. So there's sort of some secret ones, and then there's like the general statement that I made. Joe, do you want to say something?
Yeah, sorry, I was just thinking, like, if you are buying commercial property and you want to put it in a trust, you might have that as a setup as well, and it might be anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 or whatever, depending on if you're going to get a trust with a corporate trustee. Something to probably put in there too.
Self-managed super fund, obviously, as well, is another big one. If you're setting up on that, setting up a company, a lot of high net worth clients of mine buy into company structures. So yeah, that's a setup cost as well. You got to take into account. So good spot.
Well, what else before? I must have jumped the gun. What else we got? Is that we covered everything?
I think we're pretty good there, actually. Yeah.
I think we are. Yeah, I think we're probably all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holding costs. You're right, Sam. We're on the holding costs.
No, that's all good. It's all free flowing. I'm here to have the banter.